It's the Cash All Podcast, breaking down trends in design, web, social media, brands, tech, and more. I'm your host, Brandon Peterson. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Cash All Podcast. A different format this week. I'm putting together a tier list of college football bowl game logos for this 2023 season. Now, this is a little bit different because I have a little video going on this. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or Google or podcast.com or any of those places, I appreciate you tuning in there, but you may want to actually check out my YouTube page, CodePetersen, CodePetersen, all one word, and you can actually see the logos that I'm doing. I'm still going to try to explain what I'm looking at and what I like about the logos verbally. So if you are listening to this, you can still have it. Just a little more accessible and trying something new, see if it works. And if it does, I'll continue some things like this. And if it doesn't, then I'll go back to the other way. So as always, appreciate any of your feedback. So I put this together on tiermaker.com, and you can search for it on there and fill it out yourself at 2023 Bowl Game Logos Tier List Maker. And then it says rate the 2023 college football bowl game logos. And I put the major bowl games down here in the bottom. And I do have the white background just because some of the pictures were hard to show up with that dark background up here. And we're rating them either superior with an S or A, B, C, or D. There's no failures in college football bowl logos. You at least get a pass for trying, right? And it is for college football and bowl games, which I love. So you're always going to get a little credit for that, I guess. When you're done, if you do fill out yours, you can click the little save or download button and then post it online and share it with me. Let me know what you think, because I'm sure some of these we're going to have to agree to disagree on. The logos I got for this are from this bowlseason.com webpage. And I have it handy here too, because it is hard to read the smaller versions of these logos here. So that way you can kind of see what it is over here. At this point in time, we don't know who's playing in any of these matchups. These are just the bowl games. The conference championship games start tonight, actually here shortly, a little Oregon versus Washington. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm probably going to tune into that game and check it out. So let's go ahead and begin with our first bowl on here, the Myrtle Beach Bowl at Brooks Stadium. I do like this logo. I like the traditional shield. It's a clean logo, not too fancy, nothing horrible about it. So I probably am going to start this one off because I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I'm going to put it right here in the middle of this category for letter B. So Myrtle Beach. I do like the blue and white, and you got the waves going around the football. Looks pretty nice, and I am a fan of that. The second one that I have on here, this reminds me of more of the classic logos for it, and this is the Cricket Celebration Bowl, played in Atlanta, Georgia. And the Cricket Bowl, I am going to put this one up on the A tier, and I may kind of switch some of these around a little bit, but I do like that it's clean logo. I do like that combination of orange and blue. Go Gators. And I like how it has the city silhouette there. And then it has a football built into it. And a pretty clean looking logo for it. Okay, the next one that we have is R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. And this, I really have to put this down at letter D. This just looks like somebody learned how to use Microsoft Paint, and we're just putting things together. There's too many different typefaces in there. We have we have green and yellow that works well together, but then there's this purple in it, and it looks poorly done, And again, I'm not talking about the bowl itself or the matchup that will be played there. I'm just talking about my take on the design of these logos, which is all personal preference anyway. The next one I have on here, Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. I love the shield on there. You have Cure Bowl. It incorporates the color pink, which we associate with the ribbons when we're talking about cures for cancer and things like that. I think it's tied in nicely. It also has the palm trees in there. This is played in Orlando, Florida. So it kind of has that little retro Miami Vice kind of feel to it. I'm a big fan of this logo. This is the first one we have. That is superior up there. I love it. It looks great. Next one that we have on our list is the New Mexico Bowl. Now, this one does not look too bad. You have the silhouette of some scenery in the shape of a football. Underneath it, it says New Mexico Bowl underneath it. And it looks okay. I'm not a big fan of it looking like a photograph in there. I would like something more like minimalist or more graphic instead of just like a photo in there for it. So this one here, I'm not going to put it down at a D. I do like some elements of it. I'm going to give this a C because it could be better. Next one we have on here is the LA Bowl. So we have golden LA. We have some palm trees on both sides of it. And then it says bowl down at the bottom. Hosted by Gronk. So that intrigues me to want to watch it right there. Just because it's Starco Brands LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk. Got a lot of things going on with that, with the branding. I'm a big fan of it. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put this one up here in the B section because I do think it's comparable here to this Myrtle Beach. It's a nice, clean logo. Normally, I'm not a big fan of gradients in the letters, but this works out okay. Next one we have in here is Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. So Radiance Technologies in this blue kind of area. And then underneath it has the traditional Independence Bowl text that's underneath it. It's okay. You know, I think it could look a little better. I'm going to put this in the C category for it. Next one we have is Famous Toastery Bowl. This is just a basic football with a banner that goes in front of it that says Famous Toastery. And then it has bowl in the cursive letters underneath it. I do like this logo. I think it looks sharp. I'm going to give this a B rating and put that there. So we have a Scooter's Coffee here in North Platte where I live. And I'm a big fan of Scooter's Coffee. This is Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl. And it's played in Texas. And they have their Scooter's Coffee logo, which I don't think is terrible. But they have the Frisco Bowl, that little pennant there in front of it. And I am a fan of that. And I do think that is worthy of a letter A rating on there. Okay, next one we have. So my friends or listeners from another podcast I've done with some friends called Sing Second. We have the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, the Boca Raton Bowl, the Mouth Wrap Bowl goes from back in the day for another podcast episode of a sports related one. And I do like this logo on here. We have the letters. We do have some orange. We have some red that is in there. And then this blue background. And you do also have some, looks like palm trees going on in there that and a beach that kind of a little nod to the location where it's found. So I will take this logo and I'm going to put this in the C category. I am. All right, next one we have is Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. I do like this. I like that Tampa. I don't know if this is, you know, I'm assuming because it's being played in Tampa where the Buccaneers play. You have this cool logo with the swords on there, and I think that's pretty sweet. It's a good-looking logo. Ties in nicely together, and I'm going to put this up here in the S tier rating for that. Birmingham Bowl. 76 Birmingham Bowl. So on the logo here on the webpage, it's a little bit different than on their other schedule. But you have the 76 on here and then Birmingham Bowl with it. It's a clean logo. It ties in nicely with the other one we have. that came from a different part of the same page. I think I'm going to put that in the A tier. I could almost be convinced to bringing that up a notch though, because it is clean and it looks nice. Next one that I have on here is the Camella Bowl. So this is in Montgomery, Alabama, and it's a real simple. It's just text on there, a little bit of designing with it. Nothing too great for it. I think I'm going to go ahead and actually put this down here because it is more of a word mark. I'm going to give it a D tier on there. Next one on my list, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. I think that's a great looking logo. It has the red, white, and blue incorporated. There's a shield. There's a little banner that goes in front of the shield. Pretty typical of what you see with a lot of these type of logos. It says Armed Forces on it. And I'm going to put that one up here in the A category. It does kind of stand out well for me. The next one on here, moving down the list, we have the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. So played in Boise, Idaho. If I lived in Boise, it would just be a family tradition. Every Christmas time, we'd be heading out over on the blue field and watching this bowl game being played. So it has this football in it, but on the top of the football is like some sour cream, and the laces of the football are yellow. So it's kind of looks like a baked potato on there, and I do think that's creative. And I will go ahead and put this for a, oh, this is tough. I could go with an A, but I think I'm going to go with a B on this one. I think it's more of a B rating, but I do like it quite a lot. Next one we have is the 68 Ventures Bowl, and we have a ship up at the top. I like the lettering for the word bowl. It's this block style. It's exaggerated a little bit in there, and that does look pretty sharp. And I think that is worthy of a B rating in there. Las Vegas Bowl. It has like the kind of the welcome to Las Vegas type of text. Has a shield with it. It kind of looks like it's done in lights. A little golden light football on there. I'm going to put that in the B category as well. I think that's deserving of that. The Hawaii Bowl is Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, played in Honolulu. And it has a football that is made to look like a pineapple, which is creative. I do like that. Other than that, I don't really like how it's put together a whole lot. Again, kind of a lot of different colors going on with this. So I'm going to put this down at letter C for this one. We have a Quick Lane Bowl, which has like a tire, it appears, in there. And this is, yeah, it has to be a tire because it's being played in Detroit, Michigan. And it has blue and gold on there. I do like that, but I do think it's kind of missing something. You know, maybe if there was a different kind of stroke around the letters to make them stand out a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and put this one down at the C tier. Okay, so Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. Love the fact that there is a bowl game that is tributing the first responders, thanking them for all they do. Our first responders deserve much better than this logo. So again, totally support first responders. I'll definitely watch the bowl game, but I do not like that logo. It just has the kind of the orange top to it, and then first responders is done in kind of different typeface. They have one for the letter I in first, which is creative. Doesn't look quite right there though. The O in responder is in the shape of a football. Just too many things going on. Then down at the very bottom, there is some blue and red. So I get that, but it's like blue, red, black, gold, orange, white. A little too much going on there in the colors for me. And just, it looks like somebody, like, I don't know. It just isn't very well done. And they deserve better, in my opinion. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl on December 26th played in Phoenix, Arizona. The uprights of this logo, so it's like the only one that I see that has the football like goal uprights that you kick the ball through. They're like made out of um, cactus. There's a ball going through them, and then you have some mountains with kind of a sun design behind it. And it says Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I think it's creative. I think it looks pretty good. And I thought about C, but I'm going to go with the B. I'm going to give it a B rating on there. The Military Bowl presented by GoBowling.com. So in this, it has just nice clean colors. It's kind of like a blue and gray or blue and silver. There's some red incorporated in it. It has some stripes like to signify, what your ranking would be in the military. I do like that. If it's GoBowling.com, maybe they could have somehow incorporated some kind of bowling pins in with it too. But I do think it's a very clean logo. And I'm going to put it up there in the A tier. I do like that. The blue, silver, and then that red with it. Looks real nice. Okay, next one we have is the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And it says Duke's in cursive. Then you see a little stadium kind of in there with the stadium lights. And then there's a banner that says Mayo. Then it says Bowl. The sky's yellow. It's not too bad. I'm going to probably put it down here in the C category. Doesn't really stand out that great to me, but it's fine. The next one we have is the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. And I think this logo looks good. It has the shield, the DirecTV logo, the Holiday Bowl, and you have some flowers up at the top. I think this is deserving of an A rating in there. The TaxAct Texas Bowl is the shape of a football. Says TaxAct, says Texas, and then bowl underneath it. I think it could be a lot more creative. Again, there's a little heavy usage of the gradients in there. So I'm going to kind of keep this down here in the D tier for it. I think the logo could look a little better. Again, it's not a failing logo, but it's just not a great logo. All right, so here we have this Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Fenway Bowl at Fenway Park in Boston. How cool is that? I think the logo looks really clean. It actually kind of reminds me of a lot of the logos that are used on independent video, like indie titles that are sports related. But I do like that logo. I think it looks good. I like the green in it. Kind of cool with that, and just nice. And I don't know if that's supposed to be in the shape of like a home plate or something like that, but if it is, then that even ties it better with the baseball theme. Got to put that up here in the S. It's like a home plate, but also a shield. There's a football in there. The word bowl curves around it perfectly. And Wasabi up at the top, the sponsor, isn't too big to take away from the Fenway Bowl. I do appreciate that. Next one we have on here, Bad Boy Mowers. Probably not a lot of people around these parts using mowers right now. But Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. And it has everything that just signifies what you think of a design of something that looks like it's from Yankee Stadium. I do think that's sharp. What the heck is it with these baseball stadium bowl games and their awesome logos? And I just love any kind of football game that is played in a baseball. Real throwback, real retro feel. And these are great logos on there. I do like those a lot. Next one we have is a Pop-Tarts Bowl. So we have a rectangle in the shape of a Pop-Tart with a little bite mark taken out of it on there. Remember old McGruff, take a bite out of crime? It's like McGruff got a hold of this Pop-Tart. And then it has the Pop-Tarts logo on there. It's in Orlando, Florida. So behind the word Pop-Tarts, you see the silhouette, I think, of a football, but it kind of also looks like an island. And then there's a palm tree sticking out of it. Looks good. I think it's a solid logo. And I think deserving of a letter B rating. All right, next one that we have on here is the Alamo Bowl. Now, this is a logo that has changed very little over time. The Valero Alamo Bowl, you have like the shape of the Alamo, and then it's in gold. Then you have the sponsor there, and then you have Alamo Bowl in the red text. And I'm a big fan of this bowl game. The logo is okay. I'm probably going to put it down here in the C category. It's because I think it could be better. I do like that they haven't changed it a whole lot over time. The next one we have is Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Well, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl played in Jacksonville, Florida. But this one, you don't see the palm trees and everything. You see these flags coming up. You see this football, and then there's a ribbon of Tax Slayer and it says Gator Bowl. There's not even anything in reference to a gator on it. So while I do think it's a clean logo, I think it looks nice, and it does probably tie into the branding of Tax Slayer. But I think it could have been a little more creative. And if you just looked at that, I wouldn't really, other than it being called the Gator Bowl, I probably wouldn't think, hey, you know what? That thing's probably played in Florida. I wouldn't really necessarily know. So I'm going to put this one in the B category because it is clean logo, but I think it could be better. It's flirting with the C tier rating on there. This next logo, not just good, it's great. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. I love this logo. You got the top half of Tony the Tiger's face, and it says Tony the Tiger, and says the Sun Bowl underneath it. You have the orange and blue. What's more symbolic to the sports world than Tony the Tiger? Possibly the greatest athlete of all time. Sorry, Bo Jackson. Tony the Tiger played all the major sports and was awesome at all of them, I think that's a great looking logo. Looks awesome. And that definitely is deserving of an S tier logo. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl. I'm a Philadelphia sports fan, so I do like that they have one with the Liberty Bell on there. But a rule that I give myself is, even when you think it's a good idea to put some bevel and emboss in a logo, you're probably wrong. And it looks to me there's a little too much heavy on the details in here. And it just, maybe at one time that was acceptable. Now it's not really. And, just a flat design without the extra shading and everything, I think would look a little better. Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic at AT&T Stadium. You have Goodyear Cotton Bowl, and it's got the Goodyear logo at the top. Then it says Cotton Bowl. I do think it's a clean logo. I cannot put into words how much I dislike the Dallas Cowboys, and therefore that carries over to their stadium, even though it is just an amazing shrine to the sport of football. But I think the logo looks pretty good. I'm going to give it a B. And you do see that silhouette between AT&T Stadium back there. So that if you've never been to that stadium, it is truly a sight to behold. Next one we have Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And I do like that logo. It's got Chick-fil-A. You got Peach Bowl in there. And like the peach is silver in the background, which I guess you kind of have to do. Otherwise, it would take away from it. And I think it's a solid looking logo. I'm going to put it up here. Oop, wow, what am I doing? Dragging it from the wrong thing. I'm going to put it here in the A tier. I mean, I could be persuaded pretty easily, depending on my mood, to move that to an S tier up there. Trans Perfect Music City Bowl in Nashville, Tennessee. This logo here looks pretty nice. It looks like something that would be like in front of a music venue or a logo for the front of a program. And I do like the typeface. I like that dark blue and light blue color. Obviously, I'm guessing a tribute to the Titans in there. So, yeah, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to put that up here in the A tier. Then we have the Orange Bowl. Now, I'm a fan of the retro Orange Bowl logo that used to have the face on it. This one looks pretty good. You have the shield, Capital One up at the top, orange bowl, then you have the orange logo underneath it. It's a classic bowl. It's one of my favorite all-time bowls just to watch historically. I'm going to put this in the B category. It does look good. The next one we have Barstool Sports Bowl. It's a decent logo. I mean, it's their basic logo with the Barstool with the stars going around it. At the bottom, it says Arizona Bowl. It's a solid logo. It ties into their brand. And, you know, let's hope that the broadcast of that bowl is better than it was last year. Last year was disappointing to see. Just, I don't know. I felt like they didn't take it very seriously. I'm not a big fan of Barstool Sports. I know a lot of people are. I think they're over the top and kind of tacky. But the logo here, it's all right. Not terrible. ReliaQuest Bowl. So this one's played in Tampa, Florida also. You have this kind of hexagon shape, but not all sides are equal on it. So it's kind of like a badge or a shield type of deal. And in the top part, you have this like teal to white gradient football. And then you have these palm trees. In the background, you have like a blue to pink sky. So again, you kind of get those Florida vibes, that Miami Vice type of vibe with it. And then at the bottom, it says ReliaQuest Bowl. I do think it's a nice looking logo. Probably could be better. I'm gonna put it in the C tier, but I could almost put that over to a B. I do like it. But yeah, next one we have is the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, and you have the Cheez-It logo. You have the red and white from the logo. You have the orange, which is representative of the Cheez-It crackers, and you have the Citrus Bowl logo in there as well. So I do think that looks pretty good. I like the branding of it. So I'm going to put this in here as the C tier. Looks okay. We have the Fiesta Bowl. And to me, it'll always be the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. And it just made sense. But I do like how this logo, you have kind of the sun rays at the top with the red and yellow. Then down at the bottom, you have like this landscape with some, man, why am I always forgetting the word cactus in this podcast? I almost forgot earlier. You have these two cacti, and then you have your sun in there, and it says Fiesta Bowl through there. So I do think that looks good. But I don't know. I'm probably going to roll with a C on it because it could be a little better. There's some white space, and although white space is not your enemy, it could have a little more in there. It just seems like it's missing something in there to me. Okay, the Rose Bowl game, the granddaddy of them all. It's the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. This is a college football playoff semifinal, but that's where they're playing the bowl. I do like that it says presented by Prudential kind of down underneath the logo, kind of out of the way so it doesn't detract. That Rose logo I just think is sharp. It stood the test of time and looks really good, and I have to put that up there at an A. I could almost give that a superior also. I do think that's a great one. The All-State Sugar Bowl, the other college football playoff semifinal. Played in New Orleans. So this is for the Sugar Bowl, and it has like the trophy. It says All-State Sugar Bowl, and it looks classic. Looks classy. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one up here right by the Rose Bowl. I do think that's a clean looking logo. Yeah, just real effective. And then the last one we have is the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. And it's just a football that's in gold with laces or the just black lines for the laces in there. And I think it's pretty lame. Not a lot of effort went into it for this logo. And it's not impressive to me. So even though it's crowns the nation's best college football team, It belongs at the bottom of the list of logos for bowl game logos in a tier list for 2023. And there we have it. That's my tier list. Obviously, I want to know what you all think of it, if you love it or if you hate it. And what would be even better is if you fill this out yourself, go to that save or download button and tag me at CodePetersen on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere else. And let me know what you think of it and see how our lists match up in there. Until then, I appreciate you watching. Make sure you watch every single one of these bowl games. That's my call to action, not my other call to action. And we'll catch you on our next episode. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe if you like what you heard. And I'm always looking to connect on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube at CodePetersen. You can also check out my webpage, CodePetersen.com.